Hey guys, welcome to Abir and Animals Season 6. And wow, what an amazing adventure we have today! An annual bird count organized by me, which only I am going on to visit 5 lakes in Bengaluru. And those 5 lakes are Devara Besanahalli, Solkere, Kaikondarahalli, Madiwala, and Sol Agara. So we are doing this in the entire day. We are going to do 2-3 in the morning and 2-3 in the evening. So we'll get ready for a wonderful adventure, and I'll be counting birds. It's to see how many birds have come this season and shown themselves to me. So let's embark on an adventure. So we are off to our first lake, the Devara Besanahalli lake, which is not very far away. And now here we are at the Devara Besanahalli lake, and it's time to begin our count. The vegetation here makes it tough to spot creatures. As soon as we entered the lake, the first thing we saw was a white-throated kingfisher was sitting on a tree. It was not interested in us as it was looking the other way, but I still loved it. Sure, it is beautiful. Then we saw 2 ducks which were swimming towards the other side of the lake. Well, it seemed like. The ducks are very efficient swimmers, as they can battle through the water with great speed if they want to. But these ones are just gently cruising along. Next up, we saw a red-whiskered bulbul. It was making a call somewhere, and we don't know to whom and where. It was making lots of chirping sounds. So I let you enjoy the sounds. And then next up we saw a red-wattled lapwing sitting on a stone and scratching itself. And then along with the lapwing, there was a little cormorant which was doing the same thing as the lapwing was, scratching itself. Then a few meters away, we saw another cormorant, this time swimming towards the island. It was in the water. Over here, now the cormorant has done good old cormorant things. Spread its wings, as we always see it do. This is exactly how I recognize it's a cormorant. Most of the time, this is how we see them in the morning, afternoon, or evening. This is what they do. By then, the other cormorant had moved on, or had gone onto the tree, and now was happily sitting there to enjoy the morning sun. All birds like the morning sun because it's not too hot, and it's rather very comforting. And then a little later, it started to do the same thing. This one is a great cormorant. The other one was a little cormorant. And over here, we see another little cormorant just before exiting. This cormorant has come in place of the kingfisher and is drying its wings as always. We had a very good outing at Devara Besanahalli. We had a wonderful expedition at the Devara Besanahalli lake. 6 species and 8 specimens. So, off to our next lake, Solkere. Well, and now we're just seconds away from reaching our second lake, the Solkere. And let's see how many birds we can find there. It's a bigger lake than Devara Besanahalli. So, best of luck for this one, and we'll meet you once we reach there. So here we are at the Solkere lake, and we are entering here, and I already can see a few birds. As soon as we entered Solkere, we saw that this lake was thriving with birds. Our first few birds were purple moorhens and cattle egrets, as well as one pond heron, and who are happily enjoying the morning as all the other birds are. The cattle egret is one of the most common egrets that you can find in the lakes of Bengaluru. So it wasn't a real surprise to me, as every time we do come to Solkere, we do see the cattle egret. Now over here, there are two different types of ibises. The oriental white ibis, also known as the black-headed ibis, and the glossy ibis, who are happily grazing, happily hunting for food in the water. These ibis are easily recognizable by their long beaks. Now here is a closer view of the moorhens. In total, there were 19 moorhens, as if for what I could count. In one single bit, we wrote down 19 in our notebooks. It was so wonderful to see so many birds in Solkere. In fact, there are so many birds in Solkere that the bird photographers get confused which one to photograph. This pond heron right here is looking like it's sitting like a duck, but no, it isn't. And over here, a closer view of the white-headed ibis happily eating its food in the lake, and it even popped its head out once, but most of the time it was too busy in eating, which is a good thing. Over here, there were 4 spot-billed ducks, also doing the same thing as the glossy ibis in the background is. This was all breakfast time. It was breakfast time for all creatures, and the white-headed ibis and the moorhen were all doing the same thing, foraging for food. Over here, we saw a Eurasian coot swimming along, and this time it wasn't interested in eating. It was just doing business. And then we saw this purple heron, which was sitting atop some dry leaves and sticks and doing its own business. Then over here we saw some jacanas. These jacanas are new birds to the channel. And then over here we saw almost 30 lesser whistling ducks on an island, and they were really far, so I could not actually see what exactly they were doing, but they were all just in a group and having a family get together, most probably. But I loved this adventure. Then before we left, we saw another purple heron, which was looking somewhere. The purple heron has a very sharp beak and is one of the largest herons found in India. We had such a good outing at Solkere. I loved it.